Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Mallikarjun. Right, today I'm gonna quickly demonstrate on how we're gonna do a cloning of my RAC database or the restore recovery of my RAC databases. So in most of the scenarios, in most of the times, as a DBA, we always have a challenges when we do RAC to RAC database cloning. So in this particular today's demonstration, that's going to be like completely avoided. The moment you watch these particular sessions, and then you will completely become a very hands-on, very comfortable zone or very comfortable position when it comes to the RAC database cloning or RAC database restore and recoveries. So if you see this particular demonstration, I'm going to take it in 3 steps. RAC database restore and recover, the prepare and take a source database backup and transfer it to the target, and then restore and recover database on the target server. That's my second step. And then the third step is post clone activity, how we can convert that database as a RAC database, right? So uh, these are the 3 simple steps. Once you go through these 3 steps, and then you will feel much comfortable when you're doing a RAC to RAC database cloning. So I request you to watch this complete video, and then you'll feel RAC database cloning is nothing, just like matter of few minutes, and then you can run for particular commands, and then your restore will be like your database will be ready on the target server. Right. So I have a lot of other sessions already conducted, especially on RMAN backups, restore and recoveries. So if you missed out those channels, or if you missed out those videos, you can always go back to YouTube and search for Malik034, and then watch those videos, and then be comfortable with this particular today's session. Right, let's get started with the today's session. Right, so what we can do, let me log into my server here. Like these 2 sessions, which are in red color, are my source server. If I do ps-ef grep smon, I can see my devdb and asm1 is running here. And go to other node, ps-ef grep smon, devdb2 and asm2 is running here, right? So let's quickly connect to Oracle user and then set the environment to devdb1 .inv, sorry, .inv, devdb1, and then you're gonna set the Oracle home. This is gonna be like 19C Oracle home. User and app Oracle product 19C db1. Now you can do srvctl status database -d devdb. You can see devdb instance 1, devdb instance 2 running under varan node 1 and varan node 2. So this is a RAC databases which is running under node 1 and node 2. Now quickly go ahead and take first step. That's going to be like your prepare and take source database backup. So this is the simple command. I'm going to run it here. Run block RMAN target, connect to your source database, run block, allocate channel 1, and then backup as a backup set database format. I'm going to take full database backup here plus arclog format. I'm going to take arclog backup here, and then I'm going to take my control file backup here under user and backup. And then I'm going to take my SP file backup here, and then I'll release the channel. This is simple RMAN command. Let's go ahead and check anything in the user and backup, if anything is available here. Right now nothing is available there. Let's connect your RMAN target. Right, connected to your devdb, and then run this particular simple run block, which will trigger, and then which will take RMAN backup. Right, so started a backup. Right, these are arclog sequences, and starting with your arclog backup set, specified arclog. So it's going to take arclog backups as a backup set here. Right, so arclog backup is completed here, and then now started with your full database backup set. These are your data files. Right, it started with the backup set here. So your database full backup set is completed. And then again started with one more last arclog. It has switched one arclog here, and then it has taken the arclog backup again, and it has taken your backup set starting full database backup. This is your control file backup. It has took a control file backup here, and then started full database backup set. It has took your SP file backup here, and then this is your default auto backup has taken SP file and control file here. Let's exit here, and then check your backup information here. Right, you have arclog, you have full database backup, again arclog, you have control file, and then your SVG file. All the backups are ready here on the source. Now we can copy them to target SCP, whatever available inside backup. Go to your target server. So these are my target server, which is in yellow color. These are my 2-node RAC cluster here already set up. PS-EF grep SMON. So this is ASM1 is running here. And then PS-EF grep SMON, and then my ASM2 is running here. So I'm just going to copy my all software into 10.38.4.1.0.110. That's my node 1 of target server. I'm just going to copy it over here. 10.38.4.110. So I'm just going to copy all the backups from source to target here. Right, so it's all copying here. CD U01 backup. Right, it's copying over here. So so already I think old backups are available. Just cancel this one here first, and then delete all these old backups. RMAN star. Right, so all are deleted here. Now we can freshly copy once again. Right, we'll go back here. Right, it started coming here March 1st. These are the new backups are started coming here. Right, so Arcala backup done, control file, full database backup. Right, everything is coming now. Done. So if I go here, LSF and LTR, right, I got all the Arcala control file, full backup and SQL. Everything is copied to on target server. And before I get started here on the target server, let's verify my database properties here. I'll just do srvctl, whatever the status you did it, I'll just do config database, srvctl config database and devdb. That will srvctl config database and then devdb. So this is my source database properties. devdb name running from this 19C Oracle home, and then user is Oracle, SP file located on a data disk group, and password file is located on a data disk group. And then start option is open, shutdown option is immediate, role is primary, management policy is automatic, server pool, and disk group data and reco. And then your disk group owners, groups for your Oracle users. The type is RAC, and then group is O install, and then database instance are devdb1, devdb2, and configured RAC nodes are vara node 1 and vara node 2. These are my source database properties. Let's do it on the target server. We're going to clone that. We're going to restore and recover my source database as the same as source database name. That's a devdb. Right. So what I'll do now here, my backups are ready here. Let's go back to my notepad here. The restore and recover on the target server. So we're going to start my database using this dummy init file. So if I cat this dummy init file here on the target server, let's log in here. SU Oracle. And then this is a dummy init file I created. If I cat this one. So this is a dummy init file, what you're going to see it here. Your DB name and DB unique name. The DB name is devdb, unique name is devdb. Cluster database equal to false. This is very, very mandatory. When you're doing a RAC database to RAC database cloning from source cluster to target cluster, you have to make sure that you have to restore it as a standalone database first, and later you can convert it as a RAC database. So your cluster database equal to false, your audit file list, this is your audit file list, and DB create file list again plus data, DB online record online read log list is plus data, DB create online log dash 2 is plus reco, and then these two are commented out here. If you are cloning it as a new name, that time you are going to use DB name file convert, log file name convert, data devdb to data test db, reco devdb to reco test db. So these two parameters we are going to use it when we are going to use RMAN duplicate database. When you are changing the database name, or when you are changing the disk group name, or from the source to target, from the devdb to devdb, when you are restoring it devdb as the devdb, and then if the target server has a different directory structure, different disk group name. So that time we're going to use data devdb to data1 or data c devdb. So if the disk group name change or the database name change, that time we're going to use this db file name convert and log file name convert. Otherwise, we're going to comment it out because my source and target has same disk groups, data, and then reco, and then I'm going to restore and recover devdb as a devdb and the target server. So I no need to use these two parameters. I'll just ignore these two parameters. I'll just comment out. And then apart from that, control files, you got your data control file 1, and you got your reco and then control file 2, and then your db recovery file dest size and db recovery file destination, and then arclog destination 1 is pointing to your db recovery file destination. So this is a simple dummy init file what I created here. Let's go ahead and then start your database using that particular p file. Let's set the environment to devdb, and then this is your Oracle home, right? And then start your database, startup no mount p file, right? Your database instance started here, and if needed, take one more duplicate session and then monitor your database alert log. Let's go here, locate alert underscore devdb.log. This is your alert log, tail-f. So you can tail that alert log here. Your instance is started here now using the dummy init file. And now we're going to do RMAN target. We're going to connect as a RMAN target. And then we're going to use those SP file, control file to restore SP file and restore control file, alter database mount, and then start with that one. So we're going to change that backup information here. Let's exit and then go into U01 backup. We're going to change that script. So this is your SP file location, SP file backup. So I'm going to use that SP file backup here. And then this is going to control file. I'm going to replace that control file here. Right. So this is your restoring SP file, restoring control file, alter database mount, and then catalog starts with you're doing a catalog and then running the restore and recover command and then alter database open reset log. This is a simple RMAN script. We're going to use it here now. Connect to RMAN target / here, connect it to devdb, which is not mounted, and then do restore SP file and restore control file. Right. So SP file restore completed successfully, and then restore your control file. Right, you can see your data and reco, control file 1 and control files are restored perfectly fine as per this whatever that control file you mentioned here, data control file 1, reco control file 2. So both are restored here. In alert log also you can see it, those whatever the activities what we're doing it here. Right, so your SP file restore, your control file restored, and then now do your alter database mount. Because since we restored control file, your database will go up to mount mode now. So your database is processed, and then now do catalog start with that backup information, whatever that backup you have stored over there. Right, you can see your control file, SP file, which are both are cataloged here now. And then now you can do run block, restore database, and recover database. Right, so it is restoring all your data file. You can see data, devdb, your system, sysocs, undo, users, everything is getting restored back to your this group. And then reading from this particular full database backup set, whatever you kept under user one, it has restored all the data files by reading that one. Now you can see it has starting applying your recovery started, media recovery starting applying your all the arclog. And now the recovery completed, and then it is requesting for thread 1 sequence number 45. It says 45 sequence number is not available. If you closely observe here on the source side, when you took a backup here, and then it has took all the arclog backup here up to 43, it has backed up here up to 44, 45. Up to this arclog sequence number 43, it has backed up here, and then it has took a db backup here, and then again at the end again it took one more arclog here 46, 44 from the thread 1, and then from the thread 2 it is 27. So it has taken 44 also in the arclog backup. But whereas if you see here like restore and recover, it is trying to restore your 45 sequence number here. So 45 sequence number from your thread one, uh, that is like your thread one is already, the 44 is already available in your disk group as per this particular RMAN backup, whatever took here. The maximum sequence was like 44. Like I don't have a 45 sequence number in my backup. So that's why this 45 sequence number, whatever is trying to restore, that is ignorable. You can ignore this particular error message requesting for unknown arcalog in thread one, which is 45, because the 45 arcalog we have not yet backed up in our backup piece or the backup set. So we can ignore it is, and then we can say that our backup, our restore has successfully completed. And then go ahead and do alter database, open reset log. To open database with the reset log, because since we restored control files, we cannot open your database with a normal open command. You have to restore with the reset logs since you restored your control file. Go back here, your database auto backup is completed here, and alter database open reset log is done. And then you can see your restore is done. Now you can connect your SQL plus SHDBA. Right, so and then now you can do select name open mode from video the database. Right, your DevDB database restored on node 1. And then that concludes your database restore and recovery. Now the post steps, you have to convert that restored database as a RAC database. I'll just exit here now. All right, now get a P file from the source and modify accordingly to the target environment. So what I'm going to do it here, like I'll connect to my source. This is my red color, whatever you're seeing, it's my source. I'll connect to my source here. Let's go back here, SQL plus slash SHDBA, and then I'm just going to create P file from SP file, which is going to create my P file on the Oracle home location. Oracle, sorry, dollar Oracle underscore home, EDDBS. And then you got your init file here. And then you're going to take this particular init file here. And then let's go here. Let's take one node plus and then copy it over here. And then you're going to restoring DevDB as a RevDB. If you want to modify any of this parameter or size, you can modify accordingly. And then only thing is your control file, you have to restore it as a whatever the name you have given in your dummy control file. And then you have to remove this whatever that local listener, whatever you mentioned here, you just remove this local listener. And then if you want, you can remove whatever the service name. And then rest of the things are like is going to be like same, because we are restoring it as a DevDB and then both the file system are matching. So only thing is I need to change this control file location and then this local listener information. So as per the target environment. So if I go here, cd $Oracle home / DBS, and then I already made here like DevDB after RAC parameter added here. Like I just already modified those parameters. I'll just copy this one here. I'll just put it here side by side. I can just compare here. Move to other view. Right, you can see this is your both the files what you're seeing here. Right, so if you see side by side comparison, this is from your source side, and then this is from your target side, and then your audit file list is going to be same, and your DB trial is going to be same, and your cluster database equal to true. Here cluster database equal to true, so that source side cluster database was false. Now we are making cluster database was false when you are doing a restore and recover. Now we are making it as a cluster database equal to true, and then your compatibility matrix, and then your control file, you have to make it as a control 1 and control 2. That's where we mentioned in our dummy init file what we used for restore and recover. We have to change this particular line number 31 with the proper control file information. That's the one changes we had did. One changes I had done it here, and then rest of the things are all same here. And then the second changes are like your local listener which are pointing to Vara node 1 VIP, that need to be changed as a Oracle node 1 VIP. That is your target server. So this is your target server, Oracle node 1 VIP, and then Oracle node 2 VIP. So from the source and target, you have to change this local listener here. These two are the other changes you have to do it. Right, so that I did it already here. And then rest of the things are like going to be like same. right? And then go ahead and then use this particular P file, and then you can start your database. Right, like what I'll do now, start the target database using that uh, instance using that modified P file. So what I'll do, like I'll just quickly shut down this particular database here, SQL plus whatever we restored here, SQL plus SHDB, shut immediate. And then since we have this modified init file, I'll just replace it as a devdb1.vara. So now we restored as a devdb instance. Now I'm converting that as a devdb1 unnode 1, and unnode 2 I'm going to do it as a devdb2 instance, because since it's a 2-node rack, I need to convert instance 1 and instance 2 here. So this your database is shut down now here. Exit. So now I'm going to copy this particular file, whatever I'm copied here. Copy this one as a devdb1.vara. Right. So now devdb1.vara is copied, and then you can start using that particular init file. CP that devdb1, whatever you have it like modified, and then you can just verify that init parameter file once again here, cat. Right, so you have all the information, devdb information, your control file 1, control file 2, your local listener pointing to that respective VIPs. Everything is perfectly fine here. And then now I'm going to start using that particular. I'll to set the environment to devdb1 now. .orinv devdb1, and then your Oracle home. So this is your Oracle home, 19C Oracle home. Set that environment to 19C, and then start using that particular P file, whatever you modified with the RAC parameters inside that. Startup P file, and then I'm going to use init devdb1.vara. Right, so it is getting started now here. Right, now your instance is started with your init one, that init devdb1.vara. Now what you need to do, you need to create a SP file from that particular init file, whatever you modified the rack parameters inside that. You're going to create a SP file inside my disk group using this command. You see, create SP file pointing to devdb disk group from that particular init file. Right, file created. And then now you can do shut immediate. Right, so once that is done, you're going to save this init file, or whatever that init file you're going to do it like modified, you're going to save it as the after rack parameter added, because whenever you do next time cloning, you can use this particular parameter by hand. You no need to modify it one more time. Right, so done. So your instance is shutting down. Now what you're going to do, you can create a local P file pointing to your SP file, whatever you created here. What I'll do now, I'll just create this one, cat. I can just do cat init devdb.vara, and then I'll point to my SP file here. I'll just do cat exit. Right, so cat init devdb1.vara, and then I'll point it to my SP file, whatever I created. Cancel this one now. Now you can do cat real cat. It will list out. Right, this is a init devdb1.vara, which is pointing to SP file. Same thing, you can copy it to your or you can create the same file on your node 2 as well. If I go here, su oracle .varinv devdb2. This is devdb2 instance here. So I'll just set the Oracle home here. This is my Oracle home. On node 2, I'm setting it here now. CD Oracle home dbs. If I do cat devdb2 here, which is pointing to my same SP file, which is inside my data disk group. Right, both the nodes are set. Both node 1, you have set the init file to point to SP file inside this group, and node 2 also init file point to SP file inside your disk group. Now you can do SQL plus and then startup. It should start with the SP file which is inside your disk group. SQL plus SHDB startup mount, and once you start that one, it should start with the the SP file. So you can verify using show parameter SP file, which should point to your disk group or data disk group, and then SP file should point from there. Right, your database is mounted here. You can see database is mounted, and do show parameter SP file here. Right, your SP file, which is pointed to data devdb parameter file, and then SP file devdb.ora. That's perfectly looks good. And then now you can shut down your instance, shut down your database in mounted, which are in mounted state on node 1. Now you're converting the devdb as a RAC database using this srctl add database -d devdb -n devdb unique name -o your Oracle home -p your parameter file, that's your SP file inside your disk group, -t immediate option, -a your data and record disk group. So this is a command to add your database to your cluster. So you're going to add that database to cluster using this srctl. It added successfully here. And then now you're going to add the instances like srctl add instances for this devdb database as an instance 1 on node 1, srctl add instances devdb instance 2 on node 2. These are the two commands you're going to run it. Instance 1 added here, and then instance 2 is also added. Now you can do srctl config devdb. Right, so you can see your Oracle home, your devdb unique name, devdb database name, your Oracle home owner as a Oracle, your SP file. Only the password file is not created yet. And then database role is primary, and then instance are devdb1, devdb2 pointing to Oracle node 1, Oracle node 2. Right, looks perfectly good. Check for the status. It should say that none of the instances are started. Right, none of the instances are started here. Instance 1, instance 2 not running on node 1 and node 2. Start your instance. srctl start database devdb1. Sorry, srctl start database devdb, which will start it on both the cluster node. srctl start database devdb. Okay, yeah, it's done now. You can do up arrow once again, check the status. You can see devdb1 running under Oracle node 1, devdb2 running under Oracle node 2. Just to ps-ef grep smon. You can see your instance 1 is running here on other node, ps-ef grep smon. Your instance 2 is running here. So it looks good. Like, you configured your RAC database. Just set the environment to your +asm.orinv +asm1 crsctl stat resource -t. And where is your devdb here? Okay, you can see devdb instance 1, instance 2, online on node 1 and node 2, which is in open mode. Right, like set your environment back to your devdb1, and then your Oracle home. Where's your Oracle home? Right, Oracle home. Connect back to your SQL plus as HDBA. You can query the same whatever you queried here, your database name and status with the open mode with the $v database. Instead of that, we can use a $GV database. Open mode from $GV database. You can see both the instance should be like up and running on both node. I can do select instance underscore name comma status from $GV instance. Right, your devdb1, devdb2 both are open mode. Like now quickly .orinv set it back to +asm1, and then asmcmd-p lsdg. So you got your data and record, go inside data ls, and then you got your devdb here, go inside that. You got your control file, data file, online read log file, your parameter files, and then all of them. Right, you got your parameter file, everything here. Go into reco ls, and then go into your devdb, and then you got your arclog auto backup control file and read log file. So everything is like intact here. So that concludes your complete clone of your RAC database from source to target, RAC to RAC cloning. Right, so that's a quick update on this RAC to RAC database cloning. And then in my next session, I'm going to do that RAC to RAC database cloning with a different name from DevDB as a TestDB. Until then, see you guys. We'll see it in my next demo session.